Hi, Collective. How are you? Really well. I gotta stop sleeping all day. I gotta get on the page. The rest of the world, same page. Got stuff to do. My lists are growing. My to-do list. Ooh, warm. Oh, it's down to 79. Good. Okay. So hope you guys are good, healthy, and happy, and enjoy the beautiful weather. Hopefully, wherever you are, or making the best of it. Let's get started with some sage. The sage is getting really crispy. All right. All right. So, Archangel Metatron, protect all of our technology. Archangels in four quarters in my room, around the collective, around the innocent souls and children, animals. Guide and protect them. Thank you, Heavenly Father. Have us do this. Channel this. Well, actually, do this your way, not my way. Any negativity, return to senders times 10,000. And just with much gratitude and grace. Thank you so much. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Okay, so channel another video for the collective. And it's 7:47 p.m. in Hawaii. And it's 9/11, 2023. My condolences to those who've had lost loved ones in the towers. Also wanted to let you know that 9/11 angel number is a number of courage. Angel whispers, a doorway has opened for you, and while apprehension may be felt, allow courage to flow in as you put your best foot forward. You are being encouraged to let curiosity lead you and know that the divine has your back. Affirmation, I allow courage to prevail as curiosity leads me through new doors. And as 9/11 is Christ's real birthday. I also wanted to share with you. Okay, so you had trauma in your life and deep healing blockages. This, hope you can see this. I tried to write it, and the lights are kind of there. We go. Okay, so if you go to on YouTube, Jason, this is his channel, Jason Jason. Oops, Shurka. This is easier to read. Shurka. Shurka. Okay. And it's episode 1, Portal to the Pleiadians. Episode 1, Portal to the Pleiadians on Jason Shurka. He's here on YouTube. Awakening from energetic bondage. And just to give you some examples, when they connect to the Pleiadians, they take the light body or light body. They live in, there's a couple of light workers that live, they're a married couple in Australia. And her husband had deep trauma and ended up doing some people pleasing as a child. Since he lost his little sister, he felt shame and guilt and regret. And yeah, their whole family was just devastated. So, um, gosh, she was just young. It was just a little child. And he just had to bury that. He buried that, and it was really painful for him to go to that place again, but he became, he had blockages from the shame and the guilt. He became a people pleaser to compensate for that, and being the oldest in the family too. And he just felt like he was overcompensating for that. So he had a galactic healing with the Palladians from the deep trauma blockages um, by his like an astro projection, or actually our light body travel to the ship. And there's light bed. They're called med beds, and they're all the lights. Kind of have little parts of them now, like the red light therapy, and uh, there's like the violet light that um, kills bacteria. So we're light. We have chakras, right? And so, anyways, this is more high tech, and some people have them here, like the people that are battling underground and rescuing children and things like that. They're they have access to these beds because they naturally need it. They're fighting a war, right, to rescue humans for humanity. And this heart, this is an electrical healing because we're electrical, and God, divine light, as my son Stephen says, my invisible man, that the electricity that flows into our body, our cord or silver cord, is our divine spark of divine, whether we're aware of it or not. We have God in us because we're children of God, okay? And whether we appreciate it or not, it brings harmony. And Mother Earth also has this natural magnetic that comes from her too, that increases our energy. And there's also some yoga positions if you need to increase your energy. You can stand barefoot and gently roll up on your toes and down, and roll up on your toes, like lifting your heels like you're wearing high heels, and back down flat on your feet. And then you'll feel lifting in your body. Yeah, so we got it coming from Source, Universal Life Source, and we have it from our Mother Earth, right? And we're sandwiched right in the middle. So we got that grounding energy, and that really helps us to center our heart center and have a good sleep and relax our mind. So we are in that Zen, that Nirvana. Also, Tiger's Eye, I love for my grounding stones. The bigger ones you get, the more, you know, frequencies. So it's all about vibrations. We're in a vibration world. It's not a surface world at all. You're kidding yourself. It's really about vibrations and getting in that combination. Okay, like a radio station, right? We tune in to a radio. We got a channel to tune into that channel. So, um, sounds weird, but it's science, weird science. And okay, so we just read um, Kathy O'Brien's book, and it's kind of heavy, right? Um, so let's take a break. If you're going through the motions of reaching um, those places that are difficult to reach, of healing trauma without, you know, putting time and a safe space and rest towards it, healthy foods. Um, they explain this in this too, how he was taking, when he was going through his uh, the light body healing on the Palladian ship, of all, it was a quantum on it. It's really like high tech. Does all the quantum levels of all the blockages and all the pain and the hurt, and you feel lighter. And he bought like a big solid freezer and put ice and cold water in it, and he would sit in that, and he said how that helps like reset us with our electricity. So you gotta watch this video. It's really, really good, really informative, and it's episode 1, so there's a lot more, and it's free. It's on YouTube. So, yeah, that's great. We can heal ourselves. It's unique, everyone has, their own walk of life and thoughts and feelings, and that's why it's so important, I think, that we kinda take this time, this little hermit time to get to know ourselves and do the inner work and the healing and the higher technology with compassion. We can we can heal with the galactics. We're here to heal us and make us feel better. We're not meant to feel like that, but we signed up for it too to learn it. And then yeah, we go through it and it's a whole different story, right? You can watch a movie and leave or you can experience it. And they were saying that people can get soul tears and they heal that with the lights and the light bed. Also, I have 2 more books of, Kathy O'Brien's that I would like to share with you. Also, but it's in between, I kinda wanna have, like, lighten it up so that it's, it's a little more gentle. And this is a great book. I haven't read it yet, so I'm excited to start sharing this information with you by Paul Pearsall. Bashar. This was channeled by Daryl Anka, and his name is Bashar, the ET. It's really his future self coming back. So it's like his great, 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 dot, 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 grandfather. And because it's, or future self, right? Wait a minute. It's his, not grandfather, grandchild, future self coming back, more intelligent, more galactic, and able to he lives on a ship over Seattle. Not Daryl. Daryl lives in LA. And my friends and I have gone to a few of his channelings, but he's free also on YouTube. Bashar, Bashar, and Daryl Anka. He's the channeler. And Bashar mentioned he was talking about how our vibrations, frequencies, and energies from our heart. He's like, read this book. You know, this shows how we can just sit in a room and, I don't know, waiting for a dental appointment. And our hearts will communicate automatically, our souls. I mean, it's just like a whole, we're so much more than this dense human body. Once we lighten up and expand ourselves and realize that in this Christ consciousness, and he was saying in this portal to the Palladians, that once we lighten up and get into this vibrations, um, you just got to see it. I don't want to spoil it for you. Yet our vibrations are conscientious. Our higher selves start communicating. Okay, because there's no separation. It's like a river, and like my son Steven says, it's like a you know river that has streams with rocks and it just we all have our jobs and our soul contracts, our paths, right? Because we're learning. This is Harvard of all the planets, and we graduate from here, and it's we heal, we heal on the other side, get cleaned up, and lighten up, and all those lower dense feelings it's impossible to hold on to because you're so light. You're so high vibrating. And so let's get into this book, okay? The Heart's Code by Paul Pearsall, Ph.D. Tapping the wisdom and power of our heart energy. So I'm going to try in like a streak for an hour and then do like a sacred destiny. So grounding, right? So hope you did your meditation, your prayers, and the honor, the divinity in us honors the divinity in you, Mother Earth. We thank you. And tree roots wrapping up through our heels, down through the balls of our feet, twisting and wrapping and twisting all the way down to the core of Mother Earth, wrapping around the core center of Mother Earth, and back up, twisting and wrapping all the way up to through our heels and down to the balls of our feet. So we're securely grounded to Mother Earth and back up through our body and open the protection of heavenly realm around us in the collective. And thank you. Thank you, my divine team in Jesus Christ. Okay, so the new findings about cellular memories and the role, the mind body spirit connection only has for my son Scott, whose loving heart energizes all of us. An important role for the reader. The material in this book is intended to provide an overview of the new research related to the role of the heart in well being. The research is extensively referenced for readers wishing to pursue further inquiries and study. Every effort has been made to provide the most accurate, dependable, and current information. However, the reader should be aware that professionals may have differing opinions about the implications of this research. Many of the theories presented here are not yet substantiated, and change is always taking place in the field of medical science. Any suggestions for technologies, treatments, or lifestyle change referred to or implied in this book should be undertaken only with the guidance of a licensed physician, therapist, or healthcare practitioner. The author, editors, and publisher cannot be held responsible for the consequences of trying the ideas and suggestions in this book in a program of self care or under the care of a licensed professional. The ideas, suggestions, and techniques in this book should not be used in place of sound medical therapies and remedies. So, the century of the heart. The heart knows the thought denies, and there no other way. Stephen Sondheim. Let me read that again. I rewind. Sometimes a book is written that forever changes not only the way we think about life, but the way we feel about life as well. This is the heart's code. Not only does it open our minds, it opens our hearts. The heart's code is about the gift of life as it is expressed through the intelligence of the heart. An intelligence the brain is just beginning to become aware of. Our ancestors knew that the heart had energy, a powerful energy, and that it conveyed deep wisdom. However, as the human species developed its brain, it began to lose sight of its heart. At this point in history, as we venture into space, create global communications, plural, and invent all sorts of technological tools and toys, we are poised to destroy ourselves, our children, and everything around us. How was that productive? Have we simply lost our minds or have we lost something deeper? Have we lost our hearts? The intelligence of the brain is not to be faulted. On the contrary, as you will see as you read this book, the scientific tools created by the modern brain provide a new technology for conceiving and perceiving the energy and intelligence of the heart. While Pearsall, Ph.D., the inspired author of this book has taken the vision even beyond the current technology. He reaches this vision not only from his understanding of the, let me get a drink of water, collective, excuse me, 2020 on the clock. Okay. So, researching ancient wisdom of the Hawaiian ancestors, the kahuna, medicine woman and men. But from his training in psychoneuroimmunology and his knowledge of modern physics, psychophysiology, and cardiology, these are big words for big ideas. But like all big ideas, they are wonderfully simple at their core. When we began our research in 1993 on what we called energy cardiology, we drew upon the simplest ideas in physics and cardiology and integrated these ideas with random systems theory. When these ideas were married intellectually and emotionally, the result was a variable explosion of testable predictions that could forever change how we view not only the human heart, but hearts in general. The coded CODED pulsations emanating throughout the cosmos that give frequency and form to the universe. Heinz Pagels, Ph.D., the late great physicist, understood that deep significance of such universal codes in his book, The Cosmic Code, Quantum Physics as the Language of Nature. That's the name of his book. Cool. Just put that on my list. Scientists of physicians tend to be conservative, fearful of saying things in print that might be challenged by their peers as seemingly scientific. When we began publishing our ideas and research in ener- energy cardiology, we were most certainly fearful of our colleagues' emotional reactions to the inexorable logic inherent in most systems theory. Integrity in science requires that we honor the following the logic of theory, wherever it takes us, even if we do not like the implications of the predictions. Moreover, integrity in science requires that we honor and the following data derived from observation and experiment wherever it takes us, even if we do not like the implications of the findings. The Hearts Codes honors and follows the clinical observations and empirical science, suggesting, for example, that the heart stores energy and information that compare the essence of who we are, and the sensitive persons who have received can received cardiac transplants may reveal the often invisible heart's code of the donor organs living inside them. When Gary was a professor of psychology and psychiatry at Yale University in the early 1980s, he expectedly discovered the logic of the systematic memory mechanism. Okay, and also I wanted to mention the theory in science that scientists use is to, when you can prove it wrong, okay? And it sounds kind of negative, but that's how they do it. And it's kind of, it's not like an attack negative, it's more like a, um, just looking at the pros and cons and saying, okay, well, I can prove that wrong because, and you can't take it personal in science. I mean, you really can't. I mean, it's just, um, it's It's education. And so it's about, okay, it's about building on that, right? And discovery. That's how we question, right? And that's what it's all about. You have to have the best questions. The best questions. That's the trick, right? You have to, because we never know. But when we start to question ourselves and dig deeper in anything, say like in our healing, right? Why this, why that? And that's what Kathy O'Brien was explaining in her book. Ask yourself questions when you're ready to write out your memory. And and it kind of like that thread of memory, see? And it kinda it's just kinda like a domino effect, right? It just kinda like, "Oh, okay." This just putting the pieces of the puzzle together, and it becomes a team effort, not an attack to, um, I don't know, to play little petty games. I mean, these are mature adults. I mean, like, they don't care. They really don't care. They're unbothered by, um, if someone wants to turn it into a, um, you know, looking for hurt feelings and things like that. These are people that are don't get butthurt at all. They're just like, "Just get away," like, fly away, fly," just kinda like that. They won't even play with the fly. They'll probably just get fly swatter out and be done. And then get to work. I mean, this is probably um, Einstein's mind, right? And um, Tesla, Nikola Tesla. They 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 just wanted to work. They just used all their time for they're so like involved and consumed with this answer that they're trying to go through experiments and books and you know digging deep in research. They don't have time for all the petty stuff. They just work on how can they prove that wrong. And so it's kind of like matter of fact kind of a thing. And these suggestions in a team, in a group effort, would be to support or deny. And this is how, in a science project, is in a peer reviewed, say you get millions of dollars for a grant, right, at a university, and you're trying to find out, let's say, how chocolate affects, um, I don't know, everyone. And they have to have a a study group, and you have to have, like, you can't let the study group know what is going on when they test. And I'm explaining this now before we go into this book because I can see right now it's going into physics and science and theories and what their experiment proved, right? And so when you do something like that, you have, say, volunteers, say you have 100 volunteers of people, and they don't know if they're getting um, uh, the chocolate or not. I don't know. How would we do that? We would do like a, because there has to be one that is a shit. I really gotta dig deep in my brain to remember how to do this again. It's been years and years and years. Let's see. Doing the scientific method. Sure, the grade school kids know. The whippersnappers. Okay, so let's look at elementary school, right? Kid stuff. The scientific method steps followed conducting. So you have an observation. So we want to observe chocolate, but we would have to hide it in a way so they don't know they're getting chocolate. You can't give them a bar. You'd have to give them, I don't know, like a pie. Say we have a pie and we make chocolate pie, okay? Like a mousse. And One would have to be with no chocolate, like faux chocolate. Because you have to have one that is a shit, what is the word? You guys are probably, you guys probably know it. One has to be blank, like a neutral, and then you ask them questions. Some get it and some don't. Some get the real chocolate pie, and some get the fake chocolate pie, and then you question them, and then you test this hypothesis with data. This is the data collected, okay? Ask a research question, and the questions is where your intelligence is, okay? This is where you have to do some thinking and make predictions prior. Then test this hypothesis and collect data. So 50%, well, it'd have to be 49% eat out of 99%, we split that in half, then half will have the real chocolate pie, half will have the faux chocolate pie, and then examine the results and draw conclusions. And then one person would have to have um, something else. Like it wouldn't be chocolate, it wouldn't be the faux chocolate, it would be the neutral person. There's a different word for it, but I forget. And report and share the results. And then um, iterate, use the results to make new hypotheses and predictions. Okay, so and this is just to scratch the surface, okay? Because it goes much deeper, especially if they're getting a grant for millions of dollars to do this for studies and publications and put into textbooks and information and yada yada yada. So, and there's many variables, right? These are the variables. So it goes into a lot more of it. It's just to summarize. Final report, hypothesis, data analysis and graphs, research paper, conclusions. Um, is it a buffer? There's a word that I'm looking for, the neutral person, the neutral one. And then that's how they come up with it. They do that with medications too. Um, they'll have one person that has something else, and then half of the 99% will get, say it's an injection, water. They're getting saline, and then so really like 49% or 47 are getting 47 and a half. I don't know how they do that, but anyways, they get um, the real deal. And then, but everyone's asked questions. And then that's how they can compare and contrast the data and come up with the results. Okay. So just to give you an idea, little insight. Okay. So he unexpectedly discovered the logic of the systematic memory mechanism, quote unquote, an explanation for how atoms, cells, and organs such as heart naturally store coded information. And it's also called memory, right? Uh, muscle memory too, but this is cell memory because it's all sentient, like my son says. And experience three fears. First fear was that to determine whether the logic was truly correct. How about a concern? Why did I just say fear? Fear is like overused. He would have to write a paper outlining the logic and share it with his colleagues. So once his colleagues knew the implications of the logic, for example, that hearts should learn or could learn and carry one's personal code. We do our song, right? We each have our own song. Ah, man, my hair. They might question his credibility. To put it mildly, the second fear, I'm gonna change that word to concern because fear is annoying. I think it's like overkill. It's like so it's overused. Was that if the logic turned out to be wrong, say, this would be no small blunder. Another mis another understatement. I'm sorry. These letters are a lot smaller than Kathy's book had. So I'm doing my best. I think I need to use some more light. Yeah. Okay. Helpful. Oops. What did I just do? Oops. Okay. I'm just thinking of when I just had a I just had a flash of remembering when Lady and Kit was saying like when they're on the ship, and they hit the wrong button and from a ship and oops. A little more serious. But okay. I'm just at my desk, so easy breezy. This would be no small blunder. Another understatement. But the third concern was the worst of all. The logic might actually be correct. If this was true, I think Barry would have to dramatically change his cherished beliefs about how nature worked. And a lot of people have that, right? It's called in psychology, like this is just a when people have a hard time, like when your mind is blown, you actually see before your eyes something that um, they can't wrap their head around because they're so stuck in their old belief systems. Um, what is that word? Psychology word for humans who can't change their thinking. Open your mind. Jesus Christ. Okay to learn something new. It's two words. Cognitive dissonance. Cognitive is your thinking. Dissonance. This mean like dissonance. Sonance. Okay, like move on. It's the truth. Accept it. It's like, oh, rusty dusty. Wash yourself and put your WT-40 on, and you know get back to class. It's amazing to me. There's also a literal sense. God, how do I say this? Alexit. Alexithymia. Alexithymia. Probably chopping that up. Signifies no words for emotions. This label reflects the difficulty experienced by individuals with this condition in recognizing, expressing, and articulating their emotional experiences. Okay, well, maybe they just don't want to say a freaking word. Maybe they're tired. It's the labels really bug me, and that's why I like talking about the heart, because everyone just kind of has their own way. We all have our own way. But the cognitive dissonance makes more sense to me because people are refusing to change their mind to acceptance, right? That's a big part of healing and moving on. I didn't want to accept that my son passed away. I was just like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. He's still in the army. He's still in West Point. I was just kind of like, I'll just trick myself today and deal with it tomorrow. And that was my cognitive dissonance. I can't believe it. Also, in the 7 stages of grief, it's also, number 2 after shock. I had to get I had to process that, you know, get over the shock and believe it, get all the way, process it all those emotions to my thinking, my mind, my heart. I think I was protecting my heart most of all. You notice most toughest people are most sensitive. I've noticed that. Um, and it is a mental discomfort experienced by a person who simultaneously holds two or more contradictory beliefs, ideas, or values. The discomfort is triggered by a situation in which a person's belief clashes with the new evidence introduced to that person. To reduce the psychological discomfort, man, they purposely put us in hard, cold, uncomfortable chairs in school to keep our asses awake. This was part of their mind control. The person who would have to change their mind or their behavior so that the inconsistency or contradiction is resolved, thus restoring mental balance and emotional harmony. And that's what the gentleman was saying, like when he was older and dealing with that trauma of losing his sister and feeling responsible when he had to like walk back home and tell his mom, he said ran and barked. Um, yeah, gosh, that's a lot to put on a kid. So, but he was here to learn that. He came here to learn that. No matter how horrifying it is, we signed up. We really did for what happened to us. And um, that's why the healing is so important, is very important. He was saying before he had this galactic healing with for deep trauma blockages with the light beds, is that a lot of people don't want to visit that. Who wants to visit that memory? You talk to a Vietnam veteran, I don't want to talk about it. That's They'll say it before you even open your mouth. Okay. And I talked with a lot of people in my life. And in general, that's what I would say statistically, most of them, just from my own um, personal re- communication with people, they just say that. But, and it's hard, like, especially a grown man or grown woman having to go to a psychologist. It's kind of like, am I like, accepting the stigma that I'm crazy or whatever? No, that's really hard. And a lot of the VA programs has a lot more PTSD, combat veteran PTSD, tons of groups now. They didn't have anything for years and years and years. And it was so sad. There's a lot of homeless vets just trying to um, just live, you know? So, um, but yeah, he was saying a lot of people just don't want to go there, and I understand that. And when you go to psychology, you're kind of forced into it. Okay, so that's a touchy feely. Well, I mean, you voluntarily do it, but it is healing and it does work. And um, I could talk about it now on an open platform. Before, I was kind of like, I was a little ashamed to admit I need to go see a psychologist for military PTSD. And honestly, I wasn't alone. There was a lot of people who have been through what I've been through, and you will find you're not alone, especially when you join groups, things like that. So, except in Kathy O'Brien's case, child sex trafficking, she was an MK, Black Ops CIA, in those programs for mind control, MK Ultra or Paperclip, and there's several others. Um, she was saying group therapy isn't very good because of triggering each other. You have a room full of triggered kids or adults, depending on how old you are when you start your healing, deep healing. That's how I see it. I don't see it as a stigma or even with cannabis, that was given to us by the Palladians. I look much deeper now. I look much deeper that, it's all good. And good things take time. And we really need to stop labeling and stigmatizing things. And that's just my opinion, you know, but it really helps us look at a bigger picture, right? In spiritual too. Spirit will tell us. And as a medium, that we shouldn't label. We can't. Even one one family member who crossed over, he had a bad drug problem, and when on the other side, from the other side, he was saying, don't don't label people and don't look down on them if they're addicted to drugs or if they're, whatever. Doesn't matter if they wear friggin' yellow rain boots in the rain. Who knows what someone has up their butt. But we need to realize that there's a bigger picture and people we do have soul contracts and we come here to experience it. So nobody has no business putting nobody else down. Hopefully, we experience our own job, not hurting anybody else, no, or ourselves. He was hurting himself, being addicted to drugs and having a hard time on the streets. Yeah. I could see where his sister, who was a dentist, I read her book, Tommy Fingers, and she was he came to her and she translated this book. And like I'm gonna do with my son Steven. And I'm gonna have my friend Michelle though, or psychic medium, because I can only focus on one thing at a time. I mean, I'm a multitasker, doer. I could play the drums probably, but my thoughts, I don't know. Maybe my programming, I'm laser high focused on one thing, and that's what I like to stick with until I'm finished. So, or not finished. Who knows? Like my kids, they'll be around till I kick the bucket. And looking at a spiritual sense, and that we are all here as souls, as spirits living a human existence. We're signed up for this class. Whatever our class is that we signed up for is what we're going to learn. So there's no shame in that. I definitely can't judge that. No. Okay. So the second fear was that in the logic turned out to be wrong. Oh, wait, let me see. I already read this. But the third concern was the worst of all. The logic might actually be correct. If this was true, then Gary would have the dramatically changed his cherished beliefs about how nature worked. How he handled these three concerns was prototypic of the sane scientist. He didn't share the logic with virtually anyone and kept it quiet for 12 years. However, when we shared the theory with Linda in 1993, she said this logic must be communicated. The logic of storing information can be extended to storing energy, which provides a key to understanding deep implications of the work we have doing in energy cardiology. We decided it was time to be brave, and we began to share the logic with those in the scientific and clinical community who were open to changing their minds. One of the scientists and clinicians we shared the logic with was Paul Pearsall, Ph.D. To our delight, we discovered that our theorizing and basic science found strong support, not only through Pearsall's extensive clinical observations with transplant patients, but also through his deep insights based on the cultural history, which provides a profound foundation for the new paradigm. What Pearsall calls cardioenergetics and L energy. L, like in love, the letter L. Pearsall is especially creative and caring, and these qualities are expressed both professionally and personally. Pearsall's focus on L energy pushes us beyond current medical science's basic and clinical understanding of ECGs, electrocardiograms, and MCGs, magnetic cardiograms. Medical science has been afraid to take the logic of the known physics of ECGs and MCGs to their inevitable conclusion. ECGs and MCGs are measured outside the body. This means that the heart biophysical energy and information travel throughout the body and reaches the outside of the skin. Heart sounds another source of energy and information, right? Right. Also travel through the fluids and make their way to the outside of the skin. Now, what happens to all this measurable energy and information once it reaches the skin? Does it simply stop, disappear? Is it to be ignored, forgotten? Simple physics tells us that energy and information leave the body and go out into space. It reaches our loved ones and our pets and plants. It extends to the sky. And yes, logically, the electromagnetic fields expand into the vacuum of the space at the speed of light. Uh, what is this? 186,000 miles per second. I love that. Through the signal strength will obviously be very tiny. Each second after our heart beats, our individual heart's code has expanded and traveled 186,000 miles into space. Hello? Wrap that clear cognizance. Oh, yeah. No, not cognitive dissonance. No way. I'm not going to distance myself from that. That's ignorant. Like star codes, whose energy and information travel through space forever. And we are made of a matter, energy, and information derived from ancient stars. So, too, logically, does our heart's code, the largest source of biophysical energy in the body, travel through space forever, forever and ever. On first hearing, this may sound fantastic, if not outlandish. However, the same was once said for the idea that the earth was round and that the earth revolves around the sun. Palladians say it doesn't. Today we know there is more to life than our uneducated common sense teaches us. That's just what we were told, okay? Science has taught us that the earth is not actually flat. The lady didn't say this, I got pictures. It only appears that way until we look more closely. Science has taught us that the sun does not actually revolve around the earth. It only appears that way until we look more closely. Yeah, and there's pictures of like ships going in and out. Okay, and docks, ships, station like docking for the ships, like a boat, right by the sun, and it's really cool. Just it's just technology is just getting too far advanced where it cannot be tricked, right? We have videotape, we have pictures, we have um we in our hand, our phone, right? People can't get away with nothing anymore. So that's why we gotta, and especially with telepathy. Yeah, when we get telepathy, it's gonna keep everyone straight, right? Because everyone will know. And it's a trust. When you get these, that's why we gotta raise our vibrations to be trusted with we're going to 5D, we get our superpowers because we've earned them, right? We can be trusted with them, integrity, and same thing in confidentiality. And that's the same thing with, not abusing our powers. We have to respect is earned, and it's also shown. So that's why going up into these, raising these vibrations, that's really Schumann's resonance in the earth, and we start, um, getting more spiritual gifts, getting our telepathy, getting our, you know, portals, ascensions, getting, um, oh, there's people that do spiritual spying now, unless you do not consent and you put, archangels around your house, you have to, protect your energy. There's people that are more aware of that right now. And at the same time, you need to, even if you get a reading, you need to go to someone who's integral from God that you can trust, that's not going to, um, lie, who's not going to cheat, rob, steal. Um, yeah, there's a lot of variables when it comes to dealing with others. You've got to make sure on every level that, um, blind faith I give to God. But, there's people that I know, my sister, I could put $10,000 on the table and she'll, probably watch it for me and it'll still be there when I get back. And then, you know, it's just, or your, whatever it is, your information, or, it's like HIPAA rules, I had a big responsibility going to nursing school and working at the VA because I had access to everyone's records, but I'm not going to go around and tell their business. I mean, I wouldn't anyways, but that's why laws are there because, um, if someone does ever put out your medical information, there are really high penalties for it. There's prison, there's, it's a $10,000 fine. Yeah, it's big time serious. They don't play. They'll really like, um, and I'm glad because people should be protected. HIPAA stands for Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. It's a federal law that is enacted in 1996 to protect the privacy and security of individuals' health information. HIPAA privacy rule establishes national standards, of people's information. And you know what? Because people would like to get information out about, probably popular people, and movie stars or whatever, and holding that confidentiality, that integrity is a big responsibility. And if you don't, I had to take tests on this in nursing, but I know I can't tell you verbatim, but I know there's heavy, heavy, heavy penalties like, fines and imprisonment. So, but you can look that up. HIPAA penalties. It's like a soccer game, huh? Break a rule and you're out. All right. So, ooh, shit. The penalties for violating HIPAA laws include civil monetary penalties ranging from $100 to $50,000 per one violation. Damn. Depending on the level of culpability and the annual maximum for repeat violations, criminal penalties for knowingly or willingly obtaining or disclosing protected health information called PHHI in violation of the privacy rule, leading the fines up to $250,000 and imprisonment up to 10 years. Wow. They don't fuck around. And that's just potential compensation for the victims of the breach. So the victim gets that. Dang. Wow. Well, I'm open book. Thank God I don't have no diseases. I'm so glad. But still, nobody needs to know my information. You know? Every time I go to the VA, yeah, they'll know it, but they're held under the HIPAA laws. So being professional, I think, is the most important. We need to be professional. And, everyone, on a heart level, everyone deserves to be treated with respect and dignity. That's just my rule of thumb. I treat people the way I like to be treated because I understand universal laws and energy. So, yeah, wow. That's no joke. Ugh. You know what, guys? I'm hungry. So I'm going to stop it here real quick. I'm going to do Sacred Destiny. But I haven't eaten anything all day. I had a smoothie and my vitamins, and now I'm like, I'm feeling hungry. But Holy Spirit, Archangel Michael, what do we need to share with the collective? Courage. Can't make it up. 9/11. Didn't we get 9/11 courage? And can you see it? Courage. Right? What is that? The Lion and the Wizard of Oz? He wanted courage. And the Tin Man. Interesting, because this book is colored like a 10. Tin Man wanted a heart, and we're talking about the Hearts Code. So I highly recommend you guys check out. Oh, here's another one. Here's power used wisely, right? With integrity, with the guidance of up above. Okay, so I'm gonna come back and make another video. Maybe soon. Ooh, flexibility. It's good to be flexible. See this? See this? It's not that long. Maybe like 20, 25 minutes. Um, Portal of the Palladians. Portal to the Palladians, episode 1, with and it's on Jason, Jason Shurka, Shurka. And check out the rest of his videos because he has on there some other high tech technology for healing that will benefit you, all of us, right? Collective healers learning more about healing collectively, star seeds, earth angels. We like to help people, right? So, God bless you, collective. And it was good to get on here and do some reading and share this with you. So, take care. All right. I'll get back on here. I just haven't eaten all day. I slept all day. That's why. So take care. Peace out. And I got some house chores to do too. Peace.